Good morning, everybody. Guten Tag, Sandy. We have Sandy in the chat this morning. We have Zach wishing us a national cream-filled donut day. Hey, yo. Honestly, not the biggest fan of cream-filled donuts. I'm very plain sort of donut guy. There's actually it's sort of like exploded. Like the first one was near my apartment. And they've now got franchise I've heard called Homer's Donuts near me. That's like one of Montreal's new big donut places. Their donuts are thick and big as hell, and they do like a lot of like specialty donuts. Like there's obviously like the Homer pink donut. They have a lot of really cool donuts. But yes, we are back. We are live. It is the brunch gimmick. I had last week off because last week I was at my brother's wedding. And I had a absolutely great time. I was a groomsman there. My fit was immaculate. Hopefully, I'm going to get the pictures back from that, and I'll post that up on my Instagram. So I had last week off, which I did miss. We're going to talk about AJ. This is my first chance to talk about AJ Lee's return, which is one of the like bigger and like honestly best news out of WWE going on. Of course, before we get into that, we've also got the breaking news from yesterday, which is Andrade once again released from WWE. There's still a very much a developing story. We're going to get into that a little bit. We've also, speaking of big weeks in wrestling, AEW All Out is this Saturday. I will be there live. I'm going to Toronto. I'm taking the bus there Friday night or Friday afternoon, getting there Friday evening around 6, a little past 6. I'm going to be seeing some friends there. I think our good friend Ella J is going to be there. Joel Pearl, he doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to have him carry me around Toronto in a baby Bjorn, just on his front as a full-grown adult with my legs kicking out as he carries me around all of Toronto, his home of Toronto. But yeah, I'll be at All Out, and we're breaking down that card because that card looks like it's going to be so much fun, so much exciting stuff going in AEW too this week. Them just cutting off their Philadelphia little stand 3 weeks, and they just did 3 weeks at the 2300 Arena, the old ECW Arena, which was a lot of fun. Shout out Alex Lahos, who became from King of the Ring to Queen of the Meme after 1 week at All Out. Also, this Saturday is WrestlePalooza. I'm probably gonna, because like AEW All Out's in the afternoon. I might try to watch in the evening, but also I'm probably might go to an independent show that day because it's an independent show right afterwards. It's basically whatever my friend's going to be doing, I'm be doing with them. But like, yeah. Also WrestlePalooza, which also has a pretty good card, minus the person who's facing John Cena. I'm not excited about that. But let's get into it. We'll start off with the breaking news, as reported by John Alba and Sean Ross Sapp. Also, did some digging into it. Andrade, as of yesterday or like earlier this week, been moved to the alumni section, has been released by WWE. This coming seemingly, it's one of those things where he wasn't getting used on TV, so it isn't entirely too shocking. But the fact that it really was quick and like he only like it wasn't that he hasn't been back to WWE that long from AEW. And right, what we're hearing right now, which Wrestling Observer and John Alba both confirmed, is that it was a punitive release. Basically, it wasn't for budget cuts. It was because it was more of a punishment because apparently Andrade wasn't backstage at the show he was supposed to be backstage at and didn't like answer WWE's calls. So they basically fired him for it. They released him again, which like Andrade is one of those, like it's a confounding case of somebody with a lot of talent who like for whatever reason in two companies just hasn't quite been able to take that next step and like make it completely work. Like I was hoping they'd do more with them this run in WWE because I do like Andrade. Like again, after the reports of him being released by WWE, the at least from people in AEW are saying the door is still open for him to return to AEW. He did like they didn't burn that bridge on his way out, so they're still trying to bring him back. There's also like our good friend Joel said, there's a very good chance he signs a TNA, which again would be funny because it's basically WWE taking a discount on Andrade. But like I honestly could see TNA as a landing spot. He could end up at New Japan also, somewhere where I could see him working very well, and hopefully being able, especially New Japan, which could use an influx of talent as of late. But yeah, he was like Sandy saying he was never a main eventer. Yeah, like I think there was potentially talent, like the talent was there for him, if not a main eventer, to be an upper middle card guy. But like he was always saddled when like from the main roster on, he was saddled with a lot of bad creative, a lot of like start and stop booking, which obviously didn't help him very much. Like it was like he'll be on WrestleMania, then we'll hear nothing from him for 3 weeks. Like after the feud, like they don't have like they never had continuous storylines for him on the main roster, which sucks because there is talent there, and he was a cool character, but like it just nothing worked and it sucked. And sadly, like like clearly he wasn't too happy being back in WWE. It was one of those like the grass isn't always greener on the other side type deals. So who knows where Andrade ends up next? I hope he does end up somewhere like TNA or possibly New Japan or even AEW again. But it's like one of those things where like it's going to be the same problems he had with AEW that he had in WWE, which is like they don't know yeah, I don't know if he didn't necessarily want to go back to NXT, but like I can understand him feeling like it's a step back for him because like NXT was a place where it worked. Like even I felt potentially partnering him again with Selena Vega, even though like she's doing her own thing right now, would have worked out for him again. Like they could have done that reunion, which would I like to see. Like, but yeah, like even though like a lot of main roster people are going back to NXT, I felt like it would have helped them there, at least creativity, if they could have found more creative to do there. Because like I trust Shawn Michaels more to like creatively what to do more with Andrade. Like it's one of those things that it just sucks. Like for whatever reason, it seems like it was like from both sides, it was mistakes made on Andrade's part, which is like I get it, frustration boiling over and like not answering your boss's calls some days, but like, yeah, they are relying on you and you are getting paid. I mean, that's fair. And like, but like Andrade does have the talent. That's the thing. Like there's the talent there. It's just if it's attitude issues or just not like meshing well with creative, it sucks. But yeah, the story's still developing there. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more in the coming week. And it looks like he probably, since it was released, probably will be out for 90 days, which would lead him to pretty much December, January-ish for a possible return into a company. So if he does have the 90 days, it's going to be a little bit till we see Andrade on any show coming up. But yeah, the story's still developing. But also, it happened last week, and we got her a very good first promo back, which there's a lot I want to touch on there, and it's in the title of the show, but it is not a work. It was confirmed by both Wrestling Observer and John Alba of Sports Illustrated. But yeah, the return of AJ Lee, which is, I personally think like positive news WWE did need. With the run of like bad bookings and like returns. Like this is one return everyone's been waiting for so long. And you can tell immediately how much it meant to so much of the roster, how much it meant to the fans. The pop she got was great. Oh, I like Sandy. I got emotional too. I was like, I basically, Zach has it, but I did like a little test bit for when I'm off, and I sent him a video of like this idea I had for like a little thing when I'm not, when I'm busy and can't do the brunch gimmick. But like, I was literally saying, I was at my brother's, I just finished up with like my brother's rehearsal dinner and and this wedding rehearsal. So I was honestly a little drunk. I had got back to my cabin. Like I literally went to go to cabin to grab some more drinks and it started pouring. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to stay here for a little while and watch the end of SmackDown. And like AJ Lee's music hit and I was a little drunk and I got like, I'm definitely emotional about this. This is like so cool. And to know what it means to so many of the wrestlers, which is like, I still think and like mess up. Like I still say, oh, it's 2012 or something. Like the passage of time is so insane that so many wrestlers there grew up being fans of AJ Lee. Like shout out to Roxanne who recreated the picture with AJ Lee backstage. But the fact there are wrestlers there now that grew up on her and what she means to the women's division, as a whole, like at that time, she left just like literally at the precipice of the women's revolution. Like, her last match was just like right before things really exploded there, and it wouldn't have gotten there without an AJ Lee. She was one of the first women's wrestlers to fight to be like argue and fight to be able to wrestle in the ring. Also, like, didn't look like was very much not the archetype they were hiring at the time, and especially not the type that they pushed, and sort of became in her own right undeniable and became an instant fan favorite. The fact, and she mentions this in her book, which if you haven't read yet, Crazy is My Superpower. I'm going to get more into that in a second. Do yourself a favor, read AJ Lee's book. Because not only is it like a very cool sort of like autobiography, it's very, very funny. Like AJ Lee is a very good writer in her own right. Like she talked about that in her promo this week about going off and doing other stuff. Like she's a great writer. and like very funny, and also the book is very heartfelt and talks about mental illness and her mental health struggles throughout, and her coming to terms with it. So like, do yourself a favor, if you haven't yet, go out and buy the book. It is, or go to your local library and check it out, because it is very, very good. But yeah, like she was also in her book, she mentioned how at that time no women had regular merch, and she told somebody in NXT, one of the guys in NXT, one of the trainers, be like, I'm gonna have merch, I'm gonna have my own piece of merch. And they laughed at her. They straight up, like, because, you know, fairness to them, no women's wrestler hadn't really merch at that point. And they were like, you're not, like, that's infeasible. It's just like, you know, like, not only that, I'm gonna have like 3 pieces of merch. And lo and behold, she becomes one of the biggest merch seller, not just for women, but in the company. And like busted through that glass ceiling. Like, not only showing, she didn't show that women could work in the ring, be allowed to wrestle, and can actually work, but also women can sell, and women can make money. And there's a reason that, like, without proving those 2 things, you wouldn't have the women's revolution. Because, like, honestly, a lot of the dudes in the back wouldn't care if they can work if they couldn't make money from them, which sucks. Like, and they prove that not only that, it can be very profitable. So like, AJ Lee is very special on that, but also, as I like just talked about, somebody, especially in her book, talked about her own mental health struggles throughout, and her coming to terms with her mental health struggles, which, for me personally, like, reading her book, it also helped me come to terms, like, finally realize, like, oh, this is why I'm doing this. Because it felt like a mirror being reflected back at me, almost like, oh, I clearly have anxiety issues. It's not just like a quirk in my personality. Like, I had to like come to terms with having depression and stuff. Like, it was through that book. So like, her, both in her book and her return promo, talking about her mental health struggles is something that I found so special, and why people are very, very attached to AJ Lee, and a lot of people see themselves in that. Like, the fact she immediately talked about going into therapy when being away, and like, the fact that it was one of the times, like, there's times this WWE crowd, and especially going forward, will disappoint me in who they cheer for. Like, them cheering for Lesnar really bums me out. But the fact that this crowd not only accepted, like, was fully accepting to somebody talking about their mental health struggles, but started cheering therapy, which, you know, 20 years ago, never in a million years. It was one of those things where it was Aiken, again, not exactly the same thing, but it reminded me of it, of when Bowens in AEW, when his character came out as gay, because like, it was already well known that Anthony Bowens was gay, but like, when on screen for the first time, he said he was gay, and the crowd started cheering, "He is gay! He is gay!" It gave me the same vibes when the crowd was cheering for therapy. So somebody, like, being a wrestler, being vulnerable and being honest, talking about dealing with mental health. And it's not easy to go out in front of a camera and say, yeah, like, there's still like a stigma to it to this day. And there are a lot of things that try to break down that stigma. And we'll get to that in a second, because we also have a big project coming up, which Love Wrestling is associated with. I'll throw up the video of that in a second. But she, like, stuff like this helps break down that stigma especially to wrestling fans, which a lot of them are still male dominated, and we as men, as like like men especially, are so many times told to suck it up, told to like ignore your feelings, don't like cry, like if you cry you're weak. But to have another professional wrestler get up and say, yeah, I needed help, uh like it is, it's never understated that it is powerful and it does help people. And doing that in her return promo was very good, and I'm super excited for that. And like that honestly touched me, and like I will always forget like seeing Wheezy Blonde become a AJ Lee fan in real time and get her on her reactions, just getting emotional watching that, because like seeing it reflected back to her too, and she talked about it on our stream, was like also beautiful. But also like it was a perfect way to set up uh, her and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza this Saturday, which is going to be a very fun match. I'm very excited for that. I think conversely, Becky and Seth are doing a great job here and are working this perfectly, being overtly silly and grandiose with everything they do, with all their movements and how they're cutting promos, and like being the sort of like over the top goofy villains almost at times. Because they're like, there's a, you'll see it with like bad heels who would have just like taken immediate shots at her talking about thing, but like she worked both, like Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins worked that so perfectly. The promos leading into it, I felt they're great foils for this. They're doing great work, and like having AJ Lee back there, and like as you said, she signed a multi-year contract. There's a lot of matches we're going to see with AJ Lee coming up. That like I told me a few years ago would be happening. I wouldn't have believed you. But I'm very excited for them. And like this match was a great first match back. Like she looks great. She looks incredible shape. And like it's a great match to like whatever ring rust is left, especially like it's one thing to do warm-ups and training and stuff to get back. It's another thing to be in front of that live audience with that adrenaline on 100,000 million, with that adrenaline pumping in front of that crowd. So like if there's ring rust, this is a type of match where like it's good to get, you're not in the ring the entire time. In fact, everyone's going to be rating for the hot tag to AJ Lee probably. I told him like, when she gets in that ring, it's going to be huge, and it's a good way for her to work around any potential ring rust coming up, especially working opposite Becky Lynch, who is just great and will sell like crazy for her when she gets back. Although I feel like I do dislike heavily the WWE mixed tag team rules, where the second a man is tagged in, the woman has to get out. Like I want to see AJ Lee beat the hell out of Seth Rollins repeatedly, just stomp a mud hole in Seth Rollins. I would love that very much. And conversely, I wouldn't mind seeing Becky Lynch beat the hell out of CM Punk again. Like, I don't love the rules of that match, but it's still going to be a very fun match. I'm very excited for it. I'm probably going to watch it Sunday morning. I will see. Like even Sunday, like my weekend coming up, that weekend, that all weekend is going to be crazy. So I was like figuring stuff up, but yeah, like it is going to be a very, very fun match. And we've got AJ Lee back for what it's reported, as Sandy said, a multi-year contract. So there is no limitations right now to who she can face. And I'm very excited for her because, her versus Roxanne is going to happen sooner rather than later. Like that's an inevitable match, especially that she's part of the Judgment Day. So like heel versus face, that's probably going to happen not long after this feud's done. There are so many, like it is funny watching, and it just sucks. The timing sucks because man, Naomi versus AJ Lee again would have been great, and having Naomi absolutely crash out online, being like, "I can't believe they waited for when I was gone to come back," is great. Or I would say I could see the turn happening in the Judgment Day, even though they've been teasing multiple turns for like 3 years now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Liv and AJ Lee versus Roxanne and Raquel. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they turn on Liv. But we and also like I don't know if like Dom's going to be starting his own faction with the Grande Americanos, and Finn's going to go continue with the Judgment Day. So like they've been teasing that a lot recently, which also shout out to Dominic Mysterio winning the Triple Law championship on Saturday or Friday. Big like had you told I honestly did not think he had this in him for this long. Like Dominic Mysterio has somebody that has impressed me so much throughout. Like I didn't think, especially for how he started out, I didn't think he had the staying power that he did. And he's been great, so great in this role. Like he's still technically a heel and still doing heel stuff, like him beating up his legendary father, like forcing his dad to put the title around him and embarrassing his father again. Is like a straight up heel move. But like he does it like he you can't help but like like him a little bit, and it's so annoying. But he's so great in the role and has done such a great job. All credit to Dominic Mysterio, like as both Intercontinental Champion and now Triple Law Champion. Which again is WWE being WWE, and it honestly doesn't feel like it goes both ways. But you've got another WWE guy winning a title from another company. This one they actually own. TNA they only own in theory. It has the like soupçon of owning the company. Like they don't own it outright, but also no one can buy them without WWE saying yes. It is a weird relationship, but yeah, like another WWE wrestler taking a title from another company. But yeah, it makes sense for Dom to win it. I think Vikingo was in a weird, very weird position, which with this title. So I think they had no choice but to put it on Dom. Yeah, I think Andrade would have worked very well in Triple A. But like again, I think it was they weren't happy with his attitude as of late, and they fired him type deal. So like they didn't want to move him to another one of their brands. But also I was talking about mental health. We do have this is something Love Wrestling is doing in association with our own Big Bad Boris coming up in November. I've got the video here, Big Bad Boris, and I can't believe he is doing this. You're also going to see a bunch of Love Wrestling people throughout. Big Bad Boris is doing a 40-hour stream for a men's mental health charity coming up. I can't believe he's doing. I did 12 hours, and that like I was legitimately by the end of the 12 hours, legitimately cramping up, and was going crazy. Well, Drew has JPJ is still doing Between Two Beards, of course, and does the like part of it to be Between Two Beards. Does the picks every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Does the NFL picks at 5 p.m. on their Facebook as well, and also Between Two Beards. Sadly, they had to, at least for the time being, and firmly, because Drew just needed time away from pro wrestling, and like he wasn't feeling like to his credit, and we all completely understand, just didn't really feel like talking about WWE every week and just needed some time away. So whenever Drew feels like coming back, we'll be happy to have him. But yeah. Yeah, speaking of which, our own Big Bad Boris doing a 40-hour stream coming up, where you're gonna see JPJ, you're gonna see Pluggo, you're gonna see myself throughout. But it's Big Bad Boris running it in association with Love Wrestling. We have a little video here to play. I'm gonna throw on right quick, and I'll be right back right after this.
I think I might be crazy for doing this. Starting November 14th for 40 hours straight. We'll be live streaming on Twitch for 40 hours to raise money for the Canadian Mental Health Association, specifically here in Edmonton. I wanted to help contribute and raise some money for the Canadian Mental Health Association. I'm looking to bring some awareness to the stigma of mental health, especially in men, that it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to talk about it. Doesn't make you any less of a man. But I also want to make it fun. We're gonna revisit a lot of the stuff that I've done on Saturday Night Love, Hulk Hogan Celebrity Championship Wrestling, Wrestling Society X, Botchamania Roulette, some more Sporkle trivia. I'm super excited about this. I hope that everybody will take the time to tune in, even for a few minutes here and there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be long.
Yeah, so he will be doing it for 40 hours. I do not understand how that is possible, but I think he's clearly going to have to take breaks in between. As somebody who did a 12-hour stream by himself, almost by myself, and I've done, when we did a few years ago, we did a 24-hour Love Wrestling stream on here, and I did the majority of that too, and that I did at least, we also had more contributors at that point, so we had more people splitting it, but I did like 6 or 7 hours of that. And I know how much it sucks. So I don't think Boris quite knows what he's in for yet, but I respect him for doing it. And we're going to do it. We're going to help him out as best we can. You're probably going to see a bonus episode of Between Two Beards that week. Probably some brunch gimmick stuff on during that stream. We're going to be playing a lot of games, watching some wrestling, having a good time. And we ask everyone to please, if you can, spare a few dollars and donate. But that's coming up in November. So look out for that. But also, coming up this weekend, I know WrestlePalooza is happening too, and we talked a little bit about that. But I will be at All Out in Toronto. I'm so excited. I'm getting so excited for this. This card looks amazing. We're going to break down the card a little bit because it has gotten better and crazier. In fact, like, there's probably going to be more. It's Tony Khan, so there's definitely more matches added this Wednesday. But this whole weekend is jam-packed too in just a few days. Like, I know Canadian Deathmatch is running a show on Friday, which I don't think I'll be going to because I'm getting there around like 6:30, 7 p.m. But the Saturday All Out is at an earlier start time at 2 p.m. There's the parking lot brawl that they're doing. I so badly want to say brawl out, but it's the 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl with Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale versus Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness, which is Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla. That is happening, I'm pretty sure, outside of the venue because it says it's a tailgate brawl. So I think it's happening outside of the Rogers or Air Canada Center. Was it Rogers Center? They changed it from the Air Canada to Rogers, but it's happening outside the Rogers Center, I believe. One of the two stadiums that are right across the street from each other. That match is gonna, like, I'm a fan of everyone in that match. I'm so excited to see that. I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm very excited to turn up, but that's gonna be like at 2 p.m. In the afternoon. Like, it's gonna be a full day of wrestling that day, because right after that, right across the street from that, there's an independent show going on at the Rec Room, which brought to you by Smash Wrestling, which I've been to a few Smash shows before, and they are a lot of fun. Especially one of the last time I was in Toronto, or last time before that, I went to a Smash show, and that was a lot of fun. Also on the card, which is very much the, like, one of the big matches, one of the first matches that are announced for the card was Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage versus FTR. Which that match is going to be a lot of fun. I can't believe in 2025 I'm going to be seeing a Edge and Christian tag match. Like, I am witnessing my childhood all over again. It is, especially in another company. And the fact it's happening in Toronto is super cool for them, like a massive homecoming for the both of them. That match I am absolutely stoked for. I think it's pretty much predetermined. Like, my guess is Adam is Edge. I want to say Edge and Christian. Adam Copeland and Christian are going to probably take up the W there. But, like, it's going to be a fun match with against FTR, and that crowd is going to be hot as hell for Edge and Christian, or Cope and Christian returning to Toronto, especially, like, I'm sure it's the first time them tagging in Toronto in, like, almost 30 years. It's going to be absolutely crazy in that. Or, like, did they ever work as a tag team? They had to. In WWE in Toronto, I'm sure they have, but man, it's probably been like 30 years since they tagged in Toronto, so that's gonna be very exciting. Then we got a trios match with the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. We heard people, and King Bald Ricochet, the baldiest of the balds, the peak bald power outside of Don Callis, is the only man that could challenge him, who has that bald man attitude. Ricochet versus it's Bobby Lashley. I read that wrong. It's Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, which is Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. Again, Hurt Syndicate doing great work. This is going to be a very fun match. I'm happy Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, the Gates of Agony, are getting like a pay-per-view match to highlight themselves a little more, especially against the Hurt Syndicate. And Ricochet is just going to be annoying, crazy, and bald throughout. Like, I think the Hurt Syndicate need to avenge their tag team title off. So I think they're going to beat Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Then we got Mercedes Moné versus the returning Riho, which I actually have one of the first AEW figures I bought. What's actually Riho with the old women's title? Look at that. Hey, Fernando, how are you doing? How's your week going? We're just talking AEW All Out. We're breaking down the card right now. Buenos dias. I will be at AEW All Out this weekend, going out to Toronto, seeing some friends. We're just breaking down the card. We're talking Mercedes Moné and Riho, the returning Riho. Like AEW's first women's champion returning. I think Mercedes Moné is going to retain, but I'm happy to see Riho back. She is so much fun and helps, like, especially in those early days with like her early feuds and stuff. Like Riho is so talented despite being a smaller person. And I'm very excited to see her back and seeing her. I think this would be the first time I've seen her wrestle live. I don't believe, because I was at the, I've been to four, this will be my fourth, I believe, AEW show. I've been to 2 in Montreal. I've been to a Collision and Forbidden Door in Toronto, and I'll be at thing. So I don't think I think every time I went, Riho wasn't on the card. She was away. So this is probably my first time seeing Riho live, and I'm very excited about that. Then we got our first of one of the multiple, once again, multiple stipulation matches where we got, good God, this is going to be brutal. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. It is going to be a murder on television, man. Like you saw, my reaction to the fork spot is online. These two guys are going to brutalize each other, just beat the high holy hell out of each other. It's funny because the other the other matches have to follow this in levels of brutality. I don't think you can, because these two guys known for bleeding and not caring what happens to each other. And like, it is, Darby's going to bump like crazy. Something absolutely insane is going to happen during this match. It's going to be so much fun. Like, I'm so hyped. I've been to a casket match before, I believe. Like, I think a WWE house show I was at did a casket match. I can't be 100% sure, but this might be the first coffin match I've been to live. And I'm excited about it. We've already seen what Darby does in these matches. Like, jump through glass, through a tack-lined coffin. It is going to be absolutely brutal. I think Jon Moxley wins, and they're going to continue this feud, though. I think Mox takes the win here because I don't see him losing 2 back-to-back big matches in a row. And it's going to be one of those where Darby, even losing, is going to do something so insane. You're like, God, this man is not well. Like, yes, it makes sense that Darby didn't win. He died. He died in that match. Also, our second stipulation match, we got MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a tables and tacks match. They're just specifying the weapons in this one. Tables and tacks, and that's it. No other weapons. Mark Briscoe, obviously made for tables and tack matches. But respect needs to be paid to MJF, who is fully ready, willing, and able to go through these matches and does such a great job with them and doesn't get the credit he does for being a really, really good in these like hardcore stipulation matches, and sells like crazy and bleeds like crazy like every time. Like, MJF is great in these scenarios, and him coming off working just an insane schedule. Like they posted online of where, like, he's going to be right before he's going to be in Mexico. He's like, this week he's actually in Winnipeg shooting Violent Night 2, then like going to do a show in Mexico, then off to Toronto. Then I think he's going back to Winnipeg to continue shooting Violent Night 2, and then back to AEW. There's like an insane schedule since he got married, which, by the way, shout out him and a good friend of Love Pro Wrestling, Alicia Toot, was the first ever host of the LPW, the Love Pro Wrestling shows in Edmonton. She was doing, I believe, backstage interviews for us, and like and like was basically the host of the show, of the one of the first ones, because her and Spencer are actually good friends or friends. And yeah, so congratulations to her and MJF, who just got married literally the day before my brother got married. My brother almost had the same anniversary as MJF and Alicia Toot. But congratulations to them. And he is spending his honeymoon doing 1,000 jobs and wrestling everywhere. So all respect to MJF. And further respect, because I think he wins this match. Like, I would be so happy if Mark Briscoe gets a massive win over MJF like that. That would be like a shocker. And I think there'll be a huge pop if Mark Briscoe wins. But I think MJF wins. Then we got timeless Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Stanlander versus Thekla. Oh yeah, sorry, Thekla not in the because it did say the Triangle of Madness, but it's just Julia Hart and Sky Blue in the 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl. But yeah, it'll be timeless Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Stanlander versus Thekla for the AEW Women's Championship. Like, is there a good chance that Tony Storm will lose it without being in the ring? Yes, but I don't think they do that to her. I think Tony Storm retains, but like, literally, I am fine with anyone in this match winning. Like, there is no like loser or be like, this person doesn't deserve the women's title. I think any which one of them is worthy of that championship and would make a great champion. And like, I would not like be angry at all if Tony Storm retains. But like, Thekla is on another level, like straight out the gate since starting at AEW, just been killing it. Jamie Hayter returning again from injury, and she's always great. And you got Chris Statlander, who, to quote Tony Storm, God, what a woman. Like, absolutely, just absolute beast of a wrestler. I'm so excited for that match. Like, that also has like low-key match of the night potential right there. We also have Okada versus Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada versus the Beast, or Mascara Dorada or the Beast Mordos. That has to be settled, I think, on Wednesday for a 3-way match for the AEW Unified Championship. This is also a match that I'm very like. I think this is going to end in a way that leads to the inevitable Takeshita versus Okada match, which that in and of itself is going to be insane. But like, seeing them in the ring together is going to be so much fun, and adding the extra twist of either Mascara Dorada or the Beast Mortos in there, it's also going to be an absolutely crazy match. Where like I think Okada retains, but I think this is going to eventually lead to Takeshita taking the title off him. Speaking of, we mentioned Ryo's return. We're getting a massive return, one I was expecting for this pay-per-view. When like they announced all I was going to be in Toronto, the only thing I was thinking about was, please God, let Eddie Kingston be cleared. And they announced it via Threads. Eddie Kingston fighting social media norms and being the one person on Threads, accepting Big Bill's challenge for a singles match, and he will be returning from injury, finally returning at All Out, which I'm like, Eddie Kingston is one of my favorite wrestlers. I'm so excited to see him back. I've gotten to see him wrestle before. I've met him before. He is an absolute sweetheart. And like, again, we were talking about mental health earlier. Like, Eddie Kingston is one of those people that like openly talked about his mental health struggles, And like one of the many reasons why I love him, and he's just a badass wrestler. So excited to see him back. I think Eddie Kingston obviously takes a W here. Like I don't see him losing on his return match. Like some people aren't happy that they announced it early that he's returning. Like they should have just had like Big Bill come out and like be like, I've got an open challenge, I've got time, sort of type deal, and then have him return as a surprise. But like I think we all kind of assumed Eddie Kingston would be back around this time from his injury. So like I think they just wanted it out there. And it's also like a great way to get people excited because people have been dying to see Eddie Kingston back. And I'm so excited to see him back. I can't wait him to watch him beat the hell out of Big Bill. This is gonna be a hell of a match. And like God, the way I'm gonna have a smile across my face saying Eddie Kingston come back out. I'm so excited. We've also got our third stipulation match, which the field as of yet hasn't been announced, but it's going to be Brody King versus the 3 of the September to Remember, which is happening this Wednesday in London, Ontario. So we will have the full card, like that match fully thing. So we don't have it. We don't know who's in it yet, but it's going to be Brodito versus 3 September to Remember winners in a ladder match. I think Brodito retains, but again, I'm so lucky to be getting a ladder match at this pay-per-view. Like these 4-way ladder matches are always absolutely insane, no matter what company does them. It's just going to be an absolute car wreck. And the fact that we know Brodito is going to be in there, like we know Bandito is going to do something absolutely insane. Brody King's probably going to toss them around to use him as a weapon. Like Brody King, talking about my favorite wrestlers in AEW. I love Brody King so much. I'm so excited to watch him defend his tag team. I think they're going to retain, but it's going to be an absolute car wreck of a match. And like it's going to be absolutely crazy. Like that, this match alone is worth the price of the pay-per-view for an absolute car wreck match of them going crazy. But also we have our heavyweight title main event finally of Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher in a singles match for the AEW World title. And Don Callis' family is banned from ringside, which means there will be a new member of the Don Callis family interfering in this match. I think Hangman Adam Page wins here. Like as much as Kyle Fletcher is the protostar, but also the star of the future, I don't see them putting 2 titles on him, especially putting the heavyweight title on them right now. Hangman just won it. But like I see him continuing this feud with the Don Callis family. I think Hangman wins, but Cal Fletcher is going to look great throughout this match. Apparently, this match was affected by dang it, I'm blanking who got injured this week. Wardlow. This match apparently got changed. It was supposed to be Wardlow in this match initially. But it got changed because sadly Wardlow got injured. He tore his pectoral muscle, I believe, which injuries always suck, but it somehow sucks. It sucks even worse when you just come back from injury. So like, hopefully Wardlow could heal up quick because I was very excited to see him back, as were many people on the gender spectrum who thirst after Wardlow. And a lot of people were happy to see him back. So like it sucks that he got injured just as he, like literally the day he returned, or like the day after he returned. But we are getting Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher, which is going to be a great match. Like both of them are so talented. I think Hangman retains, but we're going to see. I think it's impossible for us to not see some sort of Don Callis silliness. I think potentially a new member shows up, or somebody that Hangman trusts that turns and joins the 300 members of the Don Callis family. But yeah, that is All Out. I am super excited about that. Like legitimately right after All Out, there is an independent show across the street that Smash Wrestling is doing. Then the next morning, which I will be at also, is Mystery Wrestling is doing a massive show, their biggest show they've done, at the same venue at the Rec Room in downtown Toronto. So if anyone is in Toronto this weekend, yeah, absolutely. Like, I totally agree that there are way too many members, but it's also every amazing wrestler is in that stable. He has built a absolute all-star team of wrestlers. At least not on this channel. There will be a post show. There will be a post show. I don't know if he's doing it, if he's doing it for All Out, but Pluggo is either doing one or both for both All Out and WrestlePalooza. But again, that's up to Pluggo. He has done twice in one day before. So I don't know, because it's going to be really tight, the thing. But he might talk about both. He might do a double one at the end of the night. We'll see what Pluggo is up to. But Pluggo is doing a post-show. We hadn't yet, but we can close out with that with the massive thumbs down of the WWE saying their game changer announcement, their big game changing announcement. And it was them. The thing we already knew was a foregone conclusion, but their first international, and at least not in North America, WrestleMania will be going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 33, which it sucks. Like there's no, it sucks for a lot of people, although it does leave a massive opportunity. Like it sucks for the independent wrestlers who make a lot of money that weekend around WrestleMania, but like it leaves the opportunity for AEW to suck up that vacuum. Although Tony Khan in the past said and hasn't run a show up against WrestleMania. He has been steadfast that that's their thing. I'm not going to run against them there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does a show now that weekend, and especially a show that independent wrestling can circle the wagons around, and WrestleCon can circle around, and they could pick a city, pick New Orleans, even Chicago, even though Chicago gets every event. But I'd like to see New Orleans, who got screwed out of WrestleMania this year. And again, they are promised the WrestleMania down the line. Indianapolis is pronounced the WrestleMania down the line, but they just announced WrestleMania 43 going to Saudi Arabia, which is straight up a money grab. It's because they can pay the most money. It sucks for international fans who either politically, because of the massive human rights issues that there are in Saudi Arabia, which a lot of gay fans and a lot of women are, even though to a very small degree it has gone better. I'm sure they won't be harassing international people, because they are, it's literally, the term is sport washing. They're sport washing. They're using this to make it look like their human rights issues aren't as bad as they are. And look, we have women, we're letting women on the card now. But at the same time, women in the country are still struggling and still do not have the same rights as men do there. So there's that whole thing. There's I feel bad for Bianca Belair, because they did make her come up and toe the company line and be there's been so much progress made. And it's just the progress there. It's the illusion of progress. It is the progress we will let you show on camera type deal. And also travel there, it's a travel there sucks. If any international fans, they would even thinking of going there. It's a long flight for North American fans to go. Yeah, I get respecting like religious cultures, and there is ways to be creative with the gear, and it is the like hypocrisy of it. Like the men don't have to cover up as much or at all, but the women have to. But like they've also gotten better with coming up with creative gear that way. But yeah, like the fact there is limitations around the way the women talent, the female talent, and also the crowd being weird with a lot of the women's division. Like they've been very weird to like Bianca Belair. They just gave no reaction or straight up booed. Like there's a lot about the Saudi Arabia. Like I, to be fair, like the crowd there, it's not against the crowd there. Like all of them are kids who like just want to see their favorites and stuff. But there is like a subsection of the crowd that like it has been very weird to the women's division in the past during their matches, like either just being kind of apathetic to them and stuff, or just sort of like enormous. Like it sucks. It's a good crowd, but not a great crowd, I would say, especially for like an event this big, and especially that like it goes to show. It highlights like a show like that would highlight WWE's main problem of them like relying heavily on like legends and stuff, which is like which WWE is doing now too. And like the fact that show, at least the people funding it would like to see legends and like be paying crazy money for The Rock to show up at that and stuff. So like, would I be surprised if The Rock and Stone Cold wrestle on there and do it? No. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do the Stone Cold versus CM Punk at that show. But like the whole thing just like it's not great, and it's just straight up greed. And again, it's another time WWE reinforces that they care more about money, or at least TKO cares more about money than the fan experience. Like it's money first, and the overall fan experience last at this point. But like, good for the fans there; they get a massive show. But it's going to be very weird, especially like how a lot like having a Peter Rosenberg who's on a radio show who does like on Hot 97 talk about human rights violations, like what stuff the Trump administration is doing and stuff, but has to dance around what's happening in Saudi Arabia. It's very strange. And like it sucks, but whatever. We will get by their other wrestling shows. And it also leaves a massive opportunity for the first time in recent history for like independent shows and AEW to do something fun that weekend themselves. Which hopefully like they pick a city for like North American wrestling fans to still go meet up and have like a fun weekend together. But that's going to do it for the show this week. Fernando, thank you for joining me and hanging out with me and talking AEW. I'm very excited. I'm going to see if I can get some content shot. I already reached out to somebody. We might be doing a small vlog thing, but I'll be in Toronto. If anyone in the chat or watching who watches this back later is in Toronto this weekend and you see me, come say hi. I'll be at All Out. I'll probably be at the Smash Wrestling Show, and I'll definitely be at Mr. Wrestling on Sunday. So feel free to come say hi. And I will not be on brunch next week. I know I was gone last week and back this week, and I'm gone again this week. But after this week, I will be back full time for the last week of September and going forward. It's just been a weird month. The ticket prices are absolutely insane. Yeah, I almost stayed a couple extra days. I would have had to leave the Wednesday morning, but I almost stayed the Tuesday as well to go see a Blue Jays game because they are playing the Red Sox on Tuesday. But like, I just couldn't make it work schedule wise. But yeah, the AL East leading Blue Jays, currently leading JPJs. They're actually playing the JPJs Red Sox on Tuesday, and it's dollar hot dog night that night. But yeah, I'm very excited to be in Toronto this weekend. If you're in there, come say hey. I will not be at brunch this week, but I'll probably be shooting some videos there and put up some content coming up. But Fernando and Sandy, thank you for hanging out with me. If you're watching All Out next weekend, I hope you enjoy All Out. If you're watching WrestlePalooza or watching both, I hope you enjoy both shows. Massive wrestling weekend once again coming up. I hope everyone has fun. I hope everyone has fun watching football today as well. Go Birds. 1-0. We beat Dallas. We've got a massive Super Bowl rematch coming up at 4:30. I'm very excited about. We'll let everyone go. I hope everyone enjoys the wrestling this weekend. I will see you in 2 weeks. I will probably have some content up. I will try to get some more stuff done this weekend for you guys. Stay tuned to Love Wrestling's YouTube to check that out. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.